Now, we're going to be setting in the two fiberglass rods into the center of the blade. Now that it's nice and tacky, we can actually set her in. Now, this one will set a little bit wide. That's okay. There will be plenty of glue on the other side to seal up the end, and it'll be going over like so. Then you'll have a 3-layer thick blade, kind of like the one that Brown's got over there. And then what's remaining will be room for your cross guards and handle pommel. You always want to make sure that you at least have about this much room on the end of your pommel so that if you actually almost strike someone in the head, you're not going to give them a severe concussion. Slight one. Anyways, now we're going to get on to the actual gluing of this part and this part. Again, getting out the contact cement, it's going to take a minute. But then you'll see how to properly do so. You also want to glue the fiberglass rods themselves, as well as along the sides of them, just so that they do stick. Now, this stuff kind of looks like somebody hocked up one of the world's largest loogies, but then again, nobody's really going to be looking at the glued part of your weapon unless you accidentally break it upside someone's head, in which we're highly discouraging. Please do not swing so hard that you break this across someone's head. If you're swinging too hard to the point where you're actually going to give somebody a concussion, you really have no business in LARPing. Granted, we've done that ourselves, but we're also learning a little more control along the way. Good thing to discourage heavy hitters. I myself am guilty of the heavy hitting myself, so I can't really say too much. As you've seen in previous videos, I've whacked some people pretty good. Then again, I've also gotten whacked in the head enough times. You want to try to make sure that you have helmets. You can invest in those, or make your own. One thing I can suggest for like helmets is getting like MMA helmets and building around those, or say if you have like a skateboarding helmet or anything else like that, would also be pretty helpful for you. Okay, now that the fiberglass rods and the inside of this sucker are glued, now we're going to glue the final outside layer. Now sometimes you want to use like a regular brush, or you could use like a sponge brush. Either way, you're probably going to discard it. I'd probably recommend a regular brush, seeing as how a sponge brush will soak up some of the glue.
Yeah, but these things were 50 cents each at Walmart, as opposed to a normal brush, it's probably going to be like $1 or $2, and it's hard as shit to get the cement out of it.
Yeah. These are good for a quick job, you know, if you just want to get rid of it afterwards, you're not looking to keep the brushes around. I'm putting a pretty thick layer over here just because I want to make sure that it seals nice and well. And what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit for about anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, just so it gets that nice and tacky consistency, so that when we set it on, it's not going to separate. It'll be a good solid seal on the blade. And that way, your weapon has more fortitude to it. The closer to dry it is, the stronger it's going to be. You don't want it to get too dry, though, to the point where it doesn't even feel tacky. Then, you got to put another layer. And that's always fun. Alright. And after you're done doing that, make sure you seal up your contact cement, preferably like with a hammer or something like that. Right now we're not going to do that just yet. we're going to let these dry for now. And we'll get back to you in 2 minutes.